It's amazing to think just how much AI has blown up recently.
It really is. It seems like every day there's a new breakthrough.
And every time I open my phone, there's like 10 new AI apps I've never heard of before.
I know, right? Like just yesterday, I saw one that claims it can write a symphony in the style of Beethoven.
Really? Okay, well, I've got to check that out.
Yeah, you should. But anyway, all this AI stuff, it's exciting, don't get me wrong.
Definitely.
But it also kind of makes you think about the people behind it all, Like who's actually doing the work to make all this AI magic happen?
That's such a good point. We're so focused on the shiny new tech that we often forget about the human labor that makes it all possible.
Exactly.
And that's what we're diving into today. We're going to be looking at the often hidden human costs of AI. And, we're going to be focusing specifically on some of the ethical concerns surrounding AI development.
Right. These concerns aren't always front and center, but they're definitely worth exploring.
Absolutely. And we'll be drawing on some eye-opening research, specifically an article titled, "Digital Sweatshops Fuel AI's Boom."
Oof. That title alone is pretty telling.
It really is. Get ready for some pretty shocking stuff. Like, for instance, did you know that some of the people who work on AI are being paid as little as $1.32 an hour?
Seriously. That's just, wow.
I know, right? It's hard to believe that in this day and age, people are being exploited like that.
Especially when you consider how much money the tech giants are making off AI.
It's a pretty stark contrast.
Yeah.
But, we'll get into all that. So you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first, let's set the scene. We're talking about the world of AI, a field often associated with cutting-edge technology and futuristic advancements.
Right, all that cool stuff. Self-driving cars, personalized medicine, robots can do your chores, you name it.
But there's a side to AI that we don't often hear about.
The not-so-glamorous side.
Yeah, exactly. And that side is about the people, the actual human beings who are working tirelessly behind the scenes to make all this possible.
The ones who are doing the essential but often overlooked tasks.
Right. And one of these essential tasks is content moderation. Now, this is a job that's, it's pretty demanding, to say the least.
Demanding. That's putting it mildly. Have you ever looked into what these content moderators actually have to deal with?
Yeah, I've read some accounts, and it's pretty rough. They basically have to sift through mountains of online content, and a lot of it is incredibly disturbing.
Disturbing is an understatement. We're talking about graphic violence, hate speech, sexual abuse, you name it, stuff that would make most people turn away in horror.
And these moderators have to look at it all day, every day. The article we mentioned earlier actually quotes one moderator describing the kind of content they had to deal with, and it's pretty chilling.
What did they say?
Well, they mentioned things like, and I quote, videos of a man being beheaded, child sexual abuse, suicides, torture.
Torture. I mean, that's just, I can't even imagine.
Me neither. And these are the kind of images and videos that these moderators are exposed to on a daily basis.
It's no wonder the article uses the word torture to describe the psychological impact of this work.
Right. I mean, you can't just look at that kind of stuff and not have it affect you.
It's bound to take a toll on your mental health.
And it's not like they're getting paid a fortune to do this incredibly difficult job. In fact, according to the article, content moderators in Kenya, where a lot of this work is outsourced, are making between $1.32 and $2 an hour.
$1.32 an hour for basically sifting through the worst of the internet. That's just exploitation, plain and simple.
It's really hard to justify, especially when you consider the massive profits these tech companies are making off AI.
And let's not forget this data that they're categorizing. It's not just being filed away somewhere. It's being used to train AI models.
Right, to teach them what's acceptable and what's not. So in a very real way, these content moderators are the backbone of AI development.
They're the ones shaping the future of AI, even if they're not getting the recognition or the compensation they deserve.
And what about support systems? You'd think with such demanding work, there would be robust mental health resources, right?
You'd hope so. But from what the article describes, that's not always the case. Counseling sessions are often rare and rushed, probably due to the pressure to keep up with the workload.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
They're exposed to horrific content, which takes a mental toll, but they don't get the support they need, and then they're pressured to just keep working.
It's a system that seems to prioritize profit over the well-being of these workers.
But thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom. The article also highlights how content moderators in Kenya are fighting back against these exploitative conditions.
That's encouraging to hear. How are they doing that?
Well, they're taking legal action against some of these outsourcing firms, demanding better pay and working conditions.
That's a huge step.
And they've also formed a union, the African Content Moderators Union, to advocate for their rights and improve their working conditions.
A union. That's amazing. That gives them so much more power to negotiate and fight for what they deserve.
It really does. And their efforts are starting to get some international attention. There's even a petition circulating that calls on the Kenyan government to investigate the practices of these outsourcing firms.
Wow, so this issue is really starting to gain traction.
It is, and it really raises the question, what can we, as consumers of AI, do about this?
That's a great question, and it's one we should all be asking ourselves. Every time we use social media, do a Google search, or interact with AI in any way, we're benefiting from the work of these individuals.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new technology and forget about the human cost. But we need to be more aware of where our products come from and who's paying the price for our convenience.
This isn't just about content moderation either. Think about all the other tasks that go into developing AI. People labeling data for self-driving cars, training chatbots, the list goes on.
And these are often jobs that are low-paying, repetitive, and can be mentally taxing.
So, yeah, this case study about content moderators in Kenya is just one example of a much bigger issue. It exemplifies a growing call for accountability in the tech industry.
And it's up to us as consumers to demand more transparency and ethical sourcing from the companies we support.
So as you go about your day, interacting with all this amazing AI technology, just take a moment to think about the people behind it. Will we continue to prioritize convenience over conscience? Or will we demand better for the workers who are making the AI revolution possible?
It's a question worth pondering.
Absolutely.
And with that, we'll leave you to consider the human cost of AI and the choices we all have to make.
Until next time.
See ya.